it's the 22nd of January, and a lot of historic moments are happening, and a lot of interesting events are happening. Obviously, we have Donald Trump's inauguration as the 47th president of the US, and we have contemporaneously, we have the Davos meeting of the WEF, that is the World Economic Forum, who are very much interested in stimulating growth to improve living standards, known promoters of degrowth policies, and stewarding a just and inclusive energy transition. They're also worried about inclusive democracy, which is the form of democracy where the common people are excluded, by the way.
I've always thought that the energy sector has really been so exclusionary of people. You know, all of those people that want to be included in the energy sector. Yes, this is what I want to see.
Exactly. And this year, it's very low energy, and a lot of them are scared. And we are going to talk about a lot of the moments we see. Right. But we had the elections and Trump inauguration, and the powers that be have dictated that the election merch is still on. It's not going to be forever. So if you want to buy it, check out our beautiful products like the Trump Vans 24 hat, our t-shirts, also coffee mugs. This is the iconic coffee mug here.
Wear them to work, to gloat.
Yeah, and
you know, you can get a good lawsuit on your hands if you're drinking from that mug and someone tries to fire you.
Yeah, and also the art of the grill.
Mm-hmm.
What a lovely cup. Right. Okay, so a lot of these people are environmentally conscious, and they had huge motorcades and lots of jets flying in that weren't particularly polluting. And also Greenpeace made a protest. Now, I want us to watch this video because this was an exceptionally, I don't know, how should we call it? Just look at it.
Exceptionally dumb.
This is chaos.
Is that what most of these protesters are?
How many globalists does it take to move a ladder?
God.
So they say, can you notice
They're really
everyone
pulling up the ladder for everyone else, aren't they?
Yeah. Everyone is literally going about their business as if nothing's happening. The reporters are taking photos to say there's a Greenpeace protest, and people say this is chaos.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Was that a Greenpeace protest, was it?
Yes.
So those protesters don't even realise that they are the stormtroopers for all of the people that they were just trying to protest against there.
Yeah, so here we have a very interesting clip by Jonathan Crispin, I hope I pronounced it correctly, pardon me if I don't, who went out and he trolled some people who came out of the WEF. There are some brilliant moments here that are really indicative. Let's watch 2 parts of this.
Sir,
yes.
We want to tackle the climate change issue.
Yes.
He's our guy.
I'm a guy, yeah.
What do you know? What are you doing here in the first place?
Well, I'm here to do work around climate, peace, all the different issues that count.
Yes.
Yeah.
What kind of ideas do you have about climate change, about food or something?
Well, we built a program called the Cool Block Program that helps create carbon neutral cities. Carbon neutral cities, yeah.
And what kind of plan is that?
It's called Cool City Challenge, and it works with cities to help them learn how to reduce their carbon footprint and become carbon neutral. Household by household, neighborhood by neighborhood.
Gamification.
And you want to implement that in other cities also?
Well, we've been implementing it all across California for a while, yeah.
And what about the food?
It's very important. One needs to eat lower on the food chain to lower your carbon footprint.
Just what kind of a proposal is this? Lower our position in the food chain.
Just start getting eaten by cows now.
You just
He's gonna
live
be
worse.
in a field naked, like, eat me. Come on.
But he wouldn't want cows to do this because let's say the outputs of cows are incredibly bad for the environment. So if cows go on top of the food chain and they eat us, the environment is going to die.
It would be terrible to point out the fact that the number of ruminant animals in the British Isles is actually more or less the same than before human beings actually settled it.
So WEF 2025 is about lowering our position in the food chain.
You're going to get eaten by the bugs now.
Yeah, you're going to get eaten and be happy.
Papua New Guineans delighted at this new prospect.
Yeah, well, I mean, every one of their proposals is going to translate to your life gets worse, mine stays the same or gets better. Because on the subject of last segment, these guys will have more of the resources to go between them if they just take away all of ours.
But also, he has a very explicit idea about how to handle
For
referendums.
scalable accelerator partners to just grow that network effect.
Well, to make the world better, it's a very good idea to have a referendum with people, so people can think for themselves. Are you in favor of referenda so they can vote on your ideas?
Well, it's a different strategy. It's actually empowering behavioral change. That's the actual idea. How to get a lot of people to change and adopt new behaviors. So it's not so much political as it is individual and citywide. So it's not.
Yes, because no green policy has ever been top-down implemented by the government. Here we have the fruits of the green labor. We had, despite the EU heavily promoting hydrogen in its green agenda and net zero ambitions, the industry is struggling with many project cancellation and delays. Almost 1 in 5 projects have been scrapped, despite being heavily supported financially.
Very nice, very cool. How's Germany's energy situation looking? Oh wait, yeah, it's not good. Also,
It's for the greater
that
good.
previous guy was obviously playing off of the behavioural science side of things, wasn't he? That
Nudge unit type
manipulate
behaviour.
people's behaviour to get them to adopt things without actually putting it on the ballot, or even them being aware that you've done it in the first place, which is very insidious.
I mean, you could call it evil.
Yeah, and much of it is actually based on a lot of the research that I based my master's dissertation on. So I know a lot of the work inside out, and I would say, yes, it's incredibly immoral and, dare I say, evil.
But he had a really calm demeanor. He appeared he appeared to be good.
He looked like a villain from RoboCop. I can trust him.
Right, here we had the billboard Chris being attacked by an academic. I can't show the video because it has very explicit language by the left-wing academic that left the WEF and started cursing at billboard Chris. And then the reporters were trying to talk to him, and he wasn't talking. He sort of kissed them. He made a kiss to the camera. It was very unpleasant. Very unpleasant.
Your average academic there criticizes ideas and he will fight you.
Yeah, let me just show you some stuff here as they are.
You
They're
came
asking.
from within the World Economic Forum. What's your capacity here?
He didn't say anything, and they're asking him, why are you going against billboard Chris? He told him, you're an effing, danger, things like that. And you see here his demeanor, not particularly good, but he's going to kiss the camera in a really interesting way.
I'll be fair to the guy. If a load of people were crowding around me like this, I would also be in a bad mood.
Yeah, but he was in a bad mood before because he saw billboard Chris and disagrees with
right.
his position. Now you see here this kiss. I actually feel like he kissed us, the audience. It's just right. So here we have actually the only person who is making a realistic proposal. Let's play this video. He's talking about some reserves.
See, there is a history to gold. There was once a gold standard. Currencies were pegged to gold. But if we now say that, okay, bitcoins, okay, what about platinum? What about coal? Why don't we hold strategic beef reserves?
I like
or
this.
mutton
Yes,
reserves,
I like this.
Beef
or
reserves.
apple reserves?
I
Why
also like that.
Bitcoin? So it's a public policy issue that we have got to be engaged in, and I would caution against the move then that would say there is an industry with a particular interest in a particular product, and we would like to impose it on society.
Look at
and
all
say
the
society
people,
must hold this
how they
as
like
our
what they hear.
I like
why,
his
why
ideas.
Bitcoin reserve and not beef reserves and mutton reserves?
Yeah, there's no answer.
Indian picked up on the beef reserve, didn't she?
I mean, if somebody could send me a reserve of beef, I'd be a
Yeah.
very happy man.
Make this guy the leader of the WEF, and all of a sudden, the problems disappear.
You will eat the beef and you will be happy.
Everyone will have a strategic beef reserve in their home at all times.
I'm all for it, actually. Maybe the WEF isn't so bad after.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Harry. I mean, you can't have an issue with strategic beef reserves.
I don't.
And they're also strategic, apart from being beef.
I mean, the strategic
Tactical
part is I eat it every day.
Okay, yeah, how many? 12 steaks a day?
I'm not a monster.
12 steaks, Harry. That's what they call him.
12 eggs to go with my steak.
That's still a lot of eggs.
It's a good amount of eggs.
You know there are some rumors you eat 12 cows a day?
Who's spreading these rumors?
One every 2 hours.
Brother Stelios, this is some slander being thrown against me. I'd be a very, very fat man if I was doing that, whereas I'm actually only a slightly fat man.
Right, now let's go to the more interesting contributions to the WEF. We have Zelensky here. He basically said we can't constantly expect help from the US. He talked about Putin's geostrategy. He said Putin is allying with Iran and they want to wage economic war to Europe by essentially an energy
Did
war.
he bring a tin cup with him this time?
Well, he pushed for the Euro army rhetoric, said that, we don't have enough men to fight Russia. We need more Europeans.
to turn the EU into a gigantic superstate with its own standing army.
Yes.
Other than the fact that he wants to get a European army, a lot of what he said there was actually kind of true as well.
Yeah.
So I know he's rattling the tin, just like, give us, anything, some stones to throw at the Russians. We'll take anything you've got.
Right, and here we go to Klaus Schwab, who is a bit... how should I say? He's a bit low
Sinister?
energy. It's a bit low energy
Very
this
old.
year. Why would he be?
He's in his 80s.
For the next generation fails, we risk depending into self-serving and short-sighted behaviors that undermine collective progress and lead to profound societal and political shifts. To counter the erosion of hope and confidence in our future, we must go beyond reacting just to crisis. We must focus proactively, shaping the future in strategic, innovative, and constructive ways, despite the intense, short-term pressures and problems which we all feel. It is not cynicism.
So who is all here? Apparently it's the...
So just
the WEF
keep
party.
playing it for a moment. Just keep. Was he about to say it is not sinister? What was it? Was he basically about to go on a little bit at the end by saying, by the way, I am not evil?
Or negativism, which brings us forward.
Oh, cynicism. Oh, okay. I was really
Dr.
hoping.
Evil.
I was really hoping he was going to be like, I'm a good guy, I promise.
He turned up to the forum with a white cat.
Yeah, the Blofeld's cat from James Bond. Yeah, yeah. But essentially, this is him being scared, and the party the WEF party being scared that Donald Trump won the elections.
Mm-hmm. Has he got more German from 2 years ago?
No,
'Cause
that's
he
what
didn't
he
do,
always
so-
sounded like.
he didn't do the last one, did he? So it was 2 years ago.
You see, there are several things that I don't like about his demeanor. First of all, is that he constantly gives so many platitudes that mean nothing, right? Collective progress for all that, and then he throws in something that is a gem of totalitarianism. Like, we don't need to just react to crises; we need to anticipate them.
We need to make them.
In some
Same
cases,
thing.
this is also you could say a platitude, but also if you contextualize it and bear in mind all of the policies of the WEF, this actually is much more than just, okay, hey, let's try to prevent a crisis from whose conditions, generative conditions, we know. Because there are the obvious question is, there are so many other crises that they know how they're being brought forth in Europe, for instance, but they do nothing about it. How preemptive are they when it comes to mass migration? Zero preemptiveness.
Well,
So
very
he isn't talking.
engineer it.
He isn't talking about any kind of actually important agenda here. He's actually having a negative agenda.
Well, I think Josh, in saying that they're going to make the crisis, is more correct than you might be suggesting here, because you look and you can find UN documents and such talking about replacement migration as a good thing into Europe. So what they have done is they've manufactured a crisis, which then they deny as being a crisis. That gives them, in their denial, free rein to do basically anything. Well, like we're going to cover in a moment, the problem to Britain is not mass migration of violent criminals. It's the fact that you've got access to knives, which means we're going to throw in digital ID so that you're going to be forced to use digital ID everywhere if you want to purchase this common household object.
Harry, some knives have mental health problems, and we need to raise our taxes in order to procure psychological help to these knives.
We also need a total ban on high-powered assault knives.
Yep. Right, so let's...
They're the ones you carve turkeys with, right?
Let's start bearing the context in mind. So Klaus Schwab says we need proactive leadership. We need to prevent crises rather than actually reacting to them. Now, there's a lot of issue with the crisis of legitimacy when it comes to the EU institutions. So what else is there than actually opening up and actually trying to represent your people? What best to prevent a crisis of legitimacy? Instead of doing this, they are actually promoting the DSA, the Digital Service Act, and they are essentially banning disagreement with the multiculturalist agenda that is destroying Europe. Here we have from last year Ursula von der Leyen saying that she wants to push forward the DSA and censor social media under the pretext of hate speech. And this year she says, well, the new cooperative world order has not turned into reality. Instead, competition is alive and thriving today. And she said we have a new era of geostrategic rivalry. When has that ever ended? Is the question.
Yeah, but competition is good, and also you don't want your world leaders to unite in a way, because if they unite, it means that they've sort of got a stable position to exploit their subjects more.
Global governance, the dream of globalists. Right, we have here Olaf Scholz, who was saying basically that against Elon Musk, he was saying that the EU has freedom of speech, but freedom of speech is not for extreme right positions. And he mentioned explicitly Elon Musk's comments about EU.
Well, let's be fair. This is a very German position to take on it.
Well, I want to say two things. First of all, free speech is free speech. Full stop. And second is, notice how they always go after positions they pronounce to be extreme right without also going after positions they pronounce to be extreme left.
Again, this is Germany we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thing. No one was interested to ask Olaf Scholz.
People who will rotate with the microphone, so please raise your hands if you have any question or any comment to be made. And don't be shy.
Keiner fragt.
No. I don't see. People are too.
I mean, isn't that a microaggression, as they told us at the university? If you ask someone, you're literally putting them on the spot.
Well,
it destroys their delicate psychology.
This is like that awkward moment at the end of the university lecture where they start to say, oh, does any of the students have any questions? Nobody raises their hand.
I would just ask a question to be polite a lot of the time.
And
to be a nice why are you shaking your head at that? That's a good English thing to do.
That means that you were listening to the lecture. You were doing university all wrong.
I listened to it. I paid my own money to be there. Not like all the other students.
Now, good news is Javier Milei is going to give a special address tomorrow. Yeah, that is correct. That would be interesting. Last year's, it was arguably the most interesting speech.
Wasn't that the one where he just called them all a bunch of socialists?
Yes, and now...
There's the sign that foretells his coming to the World Economic Forum, and they're flying in lots of large-breasted prostitutes for him. If you've seen
the only way that you can get him to go anywhere,
because have you seen a lot of the people he's hired? There's a lot of interesting women.
That government money that's been saved has got to go somewhere, right?
It has. There are some very wealthy cosmetic surgeons in Argentina right now.
Ministry of Beauty. Right, okay. And I'm going to end the segment with some comments about Thierry Breton, who was a former European commissioner, who just constantly makes claims. Now he says that the EU should launch tech offensive. Who asked you? And he literally said that a few weeks ago he said that we have the power to cancel elections just like we did in Romania, so we can cancel them now everywhere else.
Not sinister at all, is it?
But also an interesting turn of events that, Harry, I'm absolutely positive you're going to like. There are several rumors, and I have seen people asking him that he is going to take a new job as advisor at the Bank of America, despite a rule that requires a 2-year waiting period before starting lobbying jobs. Now, why would this, bureaucrat, this unelected European bureaucrat who constantly goes against Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and basically all European people who are interested in patriotism, why is he going to become suddenly an advisor at the Bank of America?
I don't know, you tell me.
He holds power over American politics if he works at the Bank of America.
I don't know. Or maybe people who placed him in the EU are going to place him there now. So he's going to switch like a team, he's like from Chelsea to Arsenal, something like that. Anyway, so this year's Davos was unbelievably low energy. I'm sure Millet is going to change this, but generally speaking, they just don't seem to learn. They're doubling down on their stupid agenda that is incredibly bad and pernicious.
I hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, and if you want to see what else we're up to, you can always go over to our website and follow Dan's series, Brokenomics. This one, he's talking about his predictions for 2025, and if you want to see all the other things that we're putting out, you can always follow us on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.